were very interested in hearing about what happens with a transplant, so we've got both sides of it. So I would like you to welcome Jenny and Cory, and they will tell you their story and their experience.
I guess first of all, thank you for asking us to come and share our story, and possibly, I probably should go back to a little bit of my history. I was diagnosed in my early 20s with the disease. It really didn't progress, and that was through blood pressure. It really didn't progress until I was close to 40, and then I ended up going to need dialysis when I was around about 44. Now, how the transplant came about was we were at a work function, and our boss at the time made an announcement to Cory and myself worked together, and our boss at the time made an announcement to the whole group of people at our Christmas party saying that Jenny is sick. She needs a kidney transplant, she's O positive. If anyone is out there who's got O positive and want to donate Jenny a kidney, please talk to her. It was kind of just, off the cuff remark. Well, along came Cory, and he came over and seen me. He said, look, I know I've had a couple of beers, but I'm your man. He said, I'm your man. He said, I've watched shows like RPA, and he said, look, call me tomorrow, which is what I did. And yes, we went on a long journey. I wasn't on dialysis at the time, but I was looking at going on dialysis in around March of 2007, so this all happened in 2006. And then Cory, we set things in motion, and Cory has given me, a life that I never expected that I would get. So he has changed my whole family's life. We had so much support. Cory's family, my family, we've become very close. But what Cory did was very rare. We were colleagues, but we didn't hang out together. But his generosity, he didn't waver, and I guess, I really don't know how to thank him enough. He's a knighthood probably would work, but he's just, we've remained very, very close. We catch up. We have an anniversary every year on the 4th of December for that's 12 years on, and I've never felt better. It affected my work, financially. So to have this gift is incredible. I'm not sure, how many of you out there where you're at with the disease itself, but for someone to come along like Cory and do what he did is just, I just don't know how to explain it. And we have a couple of grandchildren now. Would I got to experience that? Probably not. But because of Cory,
Anyway.
I'll probably let you. I can't talk you up enough.
Thanks. So Jenny and I are both here really, so anyone's got questions, our life and our careers is a little bit public, and I don't have much to do with this, and every now and then Jenny will ask me to have a talk to someone who's maybe got some issues in the family, and the first question I get asked is, wasn't there anyone in Jenny's family? And Jenny's got a sister who's was a good match, but just time in life wasn't right for her. And so for me, people ask how, why, and I think I was in the Navy for a while and been in pretty intense situations around the place. I had and I knew I was O positive, and for me, honestly, it was no different to someone having a cut on their leg and needing a band-aid. It was as simple a decision as that for me. And I suppose I've got a high pain. I knew I had a high pain tolerance. I had a rugby career and lived life pretty hard. And so for me, when you had a pain tolerance, I knew that I think I was lucky in our career that financially there was some flexibility. My work was flexible. We did, where we work, so we're both in real estate, we worked at the same place together. I think that the environment in the workplace was very supportive to us as well. Okay. And that's it. So we're basically here just, I think some people may have seen us before and heard our story, but we're here if anyone wants questions on one side or the other side. You've got both of us here, and I think it's a good opportunity to talk about it. But for me, honestly, I don't feel as though it's anything, honestly, no more than that. For me, I'm just so proud to see the way that Jenny and her family, looking at Jenny and the way she looks now is just, I just think an inspiration to everybody. The way Jenny lives her life, comes to these things in the community Jenny lives in, very well known for their generosity. And for me, with 3 children, I've got an 11-year-old who just seems to be the same time we were in the hospital going for...
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, that was it.
So it seemed to be the same time. And I've got twin boys that are 23 next week. So I had all those things to weigh up. I had my own health. What happens, so people ask me what happens if your kids get it down the track, and so if anyone's got any questions, we are both an open book, and there's nothing you can't ask us that we wouldn't answer. So if there anybody who's...
And the thing is, I guess, with Cory, it was a massive... Cory lost weight, he got a personal trainer in, so his commitment to it was unwavering. So I think that's the thing, he just didn't, he was not going to do it. And the appreciation for that is just, yeah, I just don't know what words to really say. He is just an unbelievable person, and I hope this does inspire others out there to perhaps do the same thing and end up, you know where I am, and certainly in a position in life where I never really expected to be. I watched my mother pass away, quite a young age. My grandmother, we've got our daughter who's going to go through the same process, but we try to stay very, very positive, and I think that's a really important thing. When you've got something like this, I think you've got to be really positive. I think we're lucky that, having a kidney disease, we've got dialysis, which if we didn't have that, we'd be in serious trouble. I mean, Barb here looked after me for a long time, and the dialysis unit and at the Canberra hospital they're amazing people, and I think the support they showed us was just, also exceptional. So it was like really very, very good all round. So
there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but if anyone's got any questions,
Can I just ask, how long did it take from the time you decided that you were going to have the transplant to hopefully being ready for it? It was intense, so I'm not going to lie, it was intense. It was about, Jenny says it was more intense for me. It was 12 months almost to the day. So 12 months to the day that I said, and there was a lot of beers involved on that Christmas party, but I said, I did say, I'm your man, and it may have been a little bit slurrier than that. And then the next day I remember catching up in Kingston until, it was almost 12 months to the day when we were going down to, we had our operation in RPA, and we were in a hotel at the Ridges up there where RPA is Newtown, and to the day when pretty much I remember Mick knocking on my door in my hotel and frog marching me down, making sure I wasn't going back out of it. Mate, it's all right, man, I'm going. But I remember it kind of felt like I could feel his breath on the back of me the whole way down, making sure I was going. So it was 12 months. There was a lot of obviously. We also have some friends or colleagues of Jenny's who are going through it now, and we know some people who have gone through it and haven't come through it, and some who have had transplants and they haven't worked. But you're obviously getting a live donor, and the uncanny thing for us is that we look like we could be brother and sister.
Absolutely.
And
I like a beer as well. So.
We're a very close match, but the difference with getting a live donor is, I think, you basically know when the kidney's going in, how the body's going to react to it, and I'm no doctor, so I apologise, but obviously everyone knows the live donor is obviously the best one, and for me, talking out here and turning up at some of these things, I think it just hopefully will inspire some people that, hey, it's not that bad. And I can tell you the recovery people ask me about, I found it no different to anything else. The doctors were excellent, the whole experience was excellent. So anyone got any questions on anything?
I wanted to ask about your recovery. How long were you in hospital? And so I guess it's 4th of December, you're running up to Christmas.
Yep.
How long were you laid up, and what did you do in that time?
To tell the truth, I can't remember exactly. I think it wasn't that long. So we went up to Sydney and we were in RPA. Maybe a week or so, and And then came home. I remember I had the stitches, and then I remember not long after that, I took my kids to the skate park, and I was trying to teach them. And I said, "Give me that bike," and I did it and kind of ripped everything open again. So I'm definitely not the best. And then, so yeah, for me, I don't think it was long. I was in hospital for about a week. Yes, there's obviously, because they're cutting through muscle and everything, I remember a bit of pain, but nothing outrageous at all. And the recovery for me was I was pretty much back to normal. The thing that I appreciated the most out of it was, I think I took my life for granted a lot. And this, it made me understand how my body works. I was overweight, and it made me react. But yeah, and then moving on for me is it's just proud in front of my children, and I like to show people that this is us, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not the end of the world, and yeah. But I also understand the people like Jenny's sister, who it wasn't the right time for her and her kids. And obviously, when you've got polycystic ovary kidneys in your, it's a different thing because you have got your family to consider. So yeah, part of the workups, I don't know if anyone's interested in, part of the workups for me was one of the things I had to go and you've got to see a psychologist, and the psychologist did everything to try and talk me out of it, and on religious grounds basically, and so for me personally, I'm not religious at all, and I kind of took a little bit of offence to that, and we moved on. So that was one of it, but there was so many things, just making sure that when my kidney was removed, Jenny actually got my better kidney.
I asked her.
Yeah, she ended up with my better one, and yeah, so everything. And the other thing was, there's two distinct teams. Even right through the day, Jenny and I, we worked together, and we were always curious on our results, how you're going, how's your creatine levels, and things like that. But even on the day, the doctors, there was one team of doctors for Jenny and one team for me, and neither of them compromised either. If anything was going to jeopardise my health, that's it. My team would shut it down. If anything on Jenny's, they shut it down. And so I just felt I felt like I was in really good hands, and you know, it was in my mind, it was going to happen. It was as easy as I made a difference to someone's life. So the workup for me, 12 years ago now, I remember, yes, there was a little bit, but nothing outrageous. And I had keyhole, so for a scar, no one wants to see it, but I've probably got a scar here. I've got a scar here in the centre, and I had my burst appendix, I think, when I was 10, so I've got a scar here as well, so they almost kind of join up. I've got crooked teeth as well. I don't have anything to do with that. So yeah, so the scar's not going to worry me. But it was pretty basic, and yeah, it's not like the old days where they had to kind of cut through, and I could imagine that would take ages. Anything else?
Can I ask Jenny, do you still take medication for injection?
I do. So I was on steroids initially as well as the anti-rejection drugs, but I actually got off them a couple of years ago, which has worked really well for me. I don't know if it's a common thing to do that, but so yeah, and they've reduced those drugs over a period of time. And look, I don't really feel that affected by that either. I mean, you have to have them to keep you going, and I'm very religious in taking them. I don't miss them at all. So I'm very diligent in doing what I do from day to day. So I think, you know, a combination of just not only taking medication, but you know, eating well and exercising. You know, you don't have to be over the top, but you can still enjoy stuff like we do, like a beer, and there's no doubt about that. We just don't go out to moose heads anymore, so yeah, pound down. So yes, it's you have to take them, but it's a necessity. And 12 years on, I feel like I go for another 20, 30, 40.
I think the only other bit to add to that is what's going to happen now. I don't know if you want to talk about that as well. The process afterwards is that the kidney that's basically, as you were just hearing, expanded is still inside.
So you have the two original kidneys, and I have the transplant. The only problem I've had in the last 12 months, I've had a few infections, which is really coming from the cysts in the old kidney. So I will have that right kidney removed in February 20. So to try and stop, and that's where they think it's coming from. I mean, it hasn't, you know, really altered my life, but I think it's got to go because it's a risk. So, and I'm happy to go, and that's keyhole surgery as well. But I think you've got to be positive about all these things, and it doesn't get you down. You just go and you get it done. I think, you know, if you can be as positive as you can. I know it's not easy, but you know, and people, good people around you. Yeah. That's yeah.
If there are no more questions, I'd like to say thank you to both of you for speaking about that.
Pleasure.
It does emphasise the argument in favour of organ donation generally, which we think is a very useful thing. But thank you very much, and good luck for the next 50 or 70 years, or whatever, for both of you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.